2022 Rogers Conn Smythe Sports Celebrity Dinner and Auction presented by Bruce Power and the Ontario Building Trades is taking place on Wednesday, April 6, 2022 at the Fairmont Royal York.
To the Raptors Show, powered by DoorDash on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. I'm your host, Will Lou. A reminder, we are streaming live on Sportsnet's YouTube channel and airing live on Sportsnet 360, Monday to Friday between 2 and 3 p.m. For people watching, hello. We will be joined in the first segment by Raptors play-by-play announcer Matt Devlin. But for the time being, we have Alex sitting here. I think it's mostly just because the sweater was too good not to have you on camera. I know usually Wednesdays you're not here. But as I sometimes clown on your name, really, but like you actually do work hard, and you're here, working behind the scenes. Although right now you're actually in front of the scenes. So explain what's going on.
Yeah, I had a spidey sense. Usually Tuesday, Wednesday, it's in the good hands of producers Jennifer Rolnick and Derek Brandeo behind the scenes, and I just kind of handle the rundowns and things for you. But today I just got a feeling that I had to come in because Matt Devlin was joining us in studio. I know you've got some tweets that you want to read off later,
yes.
Tweet or don't tweet type segment that you're going to do. And, I'm just checking my phone right now because Matt is in the building. Mm-hmm. But because of COVID rules, he's getting his rapid test right now. And last update was he's 9 minutes away. So, like this is like at the Oscars, at the awards when they have like seat fillers. I am the seat filler for the first 5 minutes. So what do you want to talk about, William? The Raptors play their final game before the All-Star break tonight in Minnesota. I got a bad feeling about this week. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
The week before All-Star is a very dangerous week, would you say?
Yeah, I would say so, because you look at some of the scores. Obviously, the Raptors losing by 30 to the Pelicans. Again, I think circumstances, even beyond the fact that they're about to play and break for All-Star, I think the fact that they spent Super Bowl weekend in New Orleans, I feel like might have played a factor. Anyway, I'm not trying to say that. That's specifically the reason why the Raptors lose it. They lose. Not to find excuses for everything. But if you just look at some of the results across the league, I mean, there's some strange ones. Quite strange ones, So I think really, for a lot of these teams, like, look, it's been a sprint for the NBA players, and they see the sort of the light on the horizon in a way, and you kind of let go of the rope just a little bit. Although I would hope the Raptors can just take care of business. I hope Fred's going to be able to play. Reports are he wasn't at shoot-around. So that's not like the most promising sign. Doesn't mean he won't play. It just might mean that, you gave him some extra rest because if he does play, you're going to need him for 40 minutes. But hopefully they can, at least go into the break with a win here. Obviously, that Nuggets game was about as painful of a way to lose as possible, with Jokic getting up like Mutombo.
Yeah, like you at the 3-on-3 tournament.
I've never played defense.
When you kicked the ball into the air and received the first technical in 3-on-3 charity tournament history.
Yeah. Well, you got to set a tone. But in any case.
By the way, Matt Devlin text 4 minutes away.
Okay, all right.
Followed by let's go.
Only 4 more minutes.
With 4 exclamation marks. And now he's telling me 3 minutes and 37 seconds and counting. So this is like legit countdown right
Do you remember in that playoff game that one year for the Raptors where the shot
clock stopped working?
Down,
This is Devlin right now.
Herbie, salute Herbie. Why are we getting Herbie on the show?
Yeah,
that's the other beef we got to quash.
Did Herbie count down from 24-1 in French, or was it English?
No, he actually used every different number in a different language.
That's impossible. He was basically the Raptors court. You know how they have every language to say we the North?
Yeah.
By the way, there's no beef with Herbie Kuhn. What's the beef with Herbie?
Well, sometimes we, make jokes about Herbie, but
it's lighthearted. It's out of love.
Yeah.
It's all respects to Herbie Kuhn. He's day one.
He's a legend. Yeah.
Shouts to the Raptor mascot as well.
Well, we're effectively burning time, so we got 3 more minutes to burn here. So yeah, you were going to ask me about how the Raptors are going to guard Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh, was I?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I was going to say the 8-game win streak was such good vibes, and then the close loss to Denver, and then the very disappointing loss to New Orleans by 30 points. Let's not go into All-Star break on a 3-game losing streak. You know?
I agree.
For all that we talked about, the East is ultra competitive. We've been trying to ignore the Boston Celtics because they're the Boston Celtics, but hate to say it, they look amazing right now.
Yeah.
And the Boston Celtics are, I think, the biggest roadblock to the Raptors getting a top 6 seed at the moment.
I think so, yeah. I mean, you look at who's below the Raptors. Like, obviously the Raptors go on this 8-game win streak, move up to 6. It's good vibes and good feelings. The thing is, the whole East continues to win every single game. And then you look at, like, Brooklyn, it was like, well, okay, yeah, they're going to get Ben Simmons to come in. And it seems like Ben is going to be able to play, like, fairly soon. Like, obviously post-All-Star break, but you know, you'll expect him to play, obviously, based on the way Harden was playing towards the end when he was just tanking his own performance. I think Ben will actually be an improvement over that. Of course, Kyrie's not going to play a lot of the games, but as long as KD comes back, I think they'll be perfectly fine, to be honest. They actually have pretty good depth in the guard spot now. It's one thing before, it was like, okay, Kyrie's not playing. You got Patty Mills. And Patty Mills has been playing great all season, but it's like, now they have Patty Mills and Seth Curry. So in the games where Kyrie doesn't play, it's like, obviously, yeah, Kyrie's way better than both those guys. But, you know, they have actual depth that they can sort of start in the backcourt there. Obviously, you have Ben who can run the point a little bit for them. You know, that the Nets are scary. I don't really need to say that even. I know they've been having a down year, but they're a scary team. And then, yeah, Boston being as good as they are right now is genuinely frustrating to me.
So more updates on Matt Devlin.
Oh, okay.
He just sent me a screenshot of his rapid tests. So he's good to go. 1 minute and 22 seconds to go.
Yeah.
So the official countdown is on. What are you going to talk about with Matt? Because I know Matt had approached you at the arena a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And was telling you, Will, there's 82 of these regular season games. Every time I check the timeline after a loss, I just see Will Lou just screaming, yelling at the refs, talking about the grandest conspiracies that Adam Silver and Mark Tatum don't want the Raptors to win. But after the pep talk, he did end the pep talk with keep going. He did say, you know, having said all that, I want you to stay the way that you are.
No, he was literally the you wild, but keep going me.
Yeah, which is kind of, don't you think that's kind of what I tell you to all the time?
I guess.
Have I ever ranged? Actually, yeah, I have. But we cannot reference the things that I've told you to stop putting on the timeline.
I thought you were going to buy this time by asking me the Karl Anthony Towns thing.
We got Vivek Jacob in the second segment.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, no, I think Matt obviously has always been good to us. You know, he mentioned this on the broadcast as well.
Honestly, I don't know how you feel, and you probably feel the same way, but it's like truly appreciated.
Of course.
Like the promo and all of this stuff, like just the love that we've received from the folks here at Sportsnet. And it's more people than we can name. And it's a lot of people behind the scenes. And I know we do our Friday shout outs all the time, but that shout out list that we give to the team, like that doesn't even cover all the people that help us. So there we the company man has arrived.
Wow.
I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna wear a Sportsnet hat tomorrow. Actually, don't hold me to that.
Wow. Okay. All right. It's the first time I've seen you in a toque, man.
Hey, this is what happens when I don't bring my laptop. It's just free flowing, you know.
It's just off the dome. Oh my goodness.
Derek, play a beat. No, don't do that.
No, there are people watching us at a sports bar
that's right.
now.
That's right. Yeah.
So the Raptors are gonna have to guard Karl Anthony Towns.
Yes. Is that your biggest concern? My biggest concern is Patrick Beverly potentially hurting somebody. Okay, there's Matt Devlin.
Can
for people that are watching, Matt Devlin has arrived at the studio, making his grand entrance. Just take your time, Matt. It's not like we only have 1 hour, you know.
Yeah, it's all good.
We can stop the clock for you.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna make an on-air. We're not gonna make an on-air substitution. Okay, all right.
No, I'll sit in. I'll sit in this first segment with Matt.
Wow, look at the pro here.
Yeah, we got to show respect.
Wow. Okay, so we have joining us, Matt Devlin. No introduction really needed. To be honest.
No.
You know, everyone knows Matt.
Yeah.
You know. Good.
We're great. Just doing a show live right now. You know.
Very spiffy. Here we go.
Am I good? Turn my mic on. Here we go.
Oh wow.
You know, how about this? Look at that.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Passed another COVID test, so that's good.
Nice.
Anytime that happens, right? So, here to talk some raps, as are you guys. And I didn't even check really the timeline that much of the other night against the Pelicans because I know that you, you know.
You know what, Matt?
We were just talking about that actually, Matt, before you came in. I was wondering if you could give your perspective on. We were talking about the pep talk that you gave Will the other day at the arena. How would you summarize the pep talk that you gave to Will?
I don't know if it's really up to Will to summarize the pep talk, but There are 82 of them, and there are nights.
Confirmed. This is what we said.
Yes, there are nights that things just don't work out. Now, if we go back to Saturday night, that to me, it's hard in this league. It's only happened 3 times this year when you score 35 points and you don't get to the free throw line. And that to me was a really tough game. Granted, they were 11-16 from the free throw line, but that was a really tough game to kind of walk away from, right? I think everybody kind of walked away from that a little bit sour, understandably so. Pascal Siakam has been brilliant, and it's a 1-point game, and he had 14 drives that night into the paint. There were things and signs that would say lead you to the line. And then there are nights like New Orleans, and, that game, it just, it's one of those where, it's almost not even worth. There are about 5 or 6 games a year where you don't even discuss it. I mean, think about what happened last night with Philly, right? I mean, those games do happen, and for various reasons. And I know a lot of people, because I remember this was last season, a lot of people go, oh, yeah, whatever, you start 2-10. Well, you just moved to Tampa. If you've been through that in life, where you're moving and all the other different parts right before your job starts, it's not easy. And then, COVID, you get to 17-17 and COVID sets in. And think about this year when, COVID hit different teams, right? And you come back and everybody, I think we've all learned this, everybody reacts to it differently, right? So, and then you're talking about world-class athletes. So there are nights where you just hope that tonight's not the night.
It's not going to be. Come on.
Especially, look at last night, overtime, right, with Charlotte. So Minnesota's playing really good. Chris Finch has done an excellent job there. So it should be fun. Look at you guys. You guys are on TV now, too, huh?
I know.
That's why we had to bring you on to come endorse this, because we were talking about how much you're showing us love, the love to the show, and we do truly appreciate it. I want to tell you that in person.
Well, I appreciate that, and that did happen the other night, and in part because,
they were down 30.
They were down 30.
We get the best promo. We get the best promo when the Raptors are losing. I remember a blowout loss earlier this year in Utah. That's when I got my cover story promo, so I appreciate that.
Yeah. But here's the funny thing. So we do the promo, Dave Leader, our producer, so Raptors Show with Will Liu, and all right, so here we go, and we do the promo. And I always say this about a broadcast. The game dictates where you go. It's changed over the years because 20-point leads are no longer 20-point leads, right? Because of the 3-ball and all that. And then also the game, as we all know, is being played faster than it ever has, right? Possessions, 180 shots plus a game. But the game will always let you know where to go. Yeah. And so at that moment, you're kind of like, hey, let's have some fun. And so, brought in your good friend, Alvin Williams.
On the show tomorrow, by the way.
Book tomorrow.
The minute we came to pressure.
No, the minute Matt and Alvin started talking about it, I text both of them. I text Matt first. I was like, Matt, can you please just confirm on air that Alvin has been on the show twice? Like, I just can't have Alvin lying about our show.
Danielle stepped in and said, Alvin, you have been on the show.
Oh, wow.
And so then Alvin's like,
we're just not that memorable. It's okay.
No.
It's okay.
I said, Alvin.
It's okay.
But, Alvin, I think, I get it. We're in the middle of the game, and he's like, I can't, because I just couldn't remember. But you got to cover for me, So there you go.
Alvin Williams on the show tomorrow.
On the show tomorrow.
On the show tomorrow. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was going to ask you about just, that process. We'll definitely get more back to this pep talk because I think we actually have a whole segment built around this.
All right.
So,
but do you like the idea of the pep talk?
I mean, I really do like it because it's almost like, a dad sitting you down and just being like, look, some days will be like this in life, which is exactly the speech you gave me. And I was like, you know what, you're right. But then you also finished it off as we recapped earlier, by you saying, but just keep doing what you're doing, though. Don't change. And I was like, oh, okay, all right. It's just a nice little bit of perspective. But, I mean, I did wanted to ask you a little bit about this season, working with Alvin, working with Amy as well. Yeah. What's that been like? What's the learning process been like on that front? And just like on their fronts, have you seen them sort of grow as broadcasters into their roles?
Yeah. First of all, both of them had tremendous perspective. And when, you come into a situation like this with the Toronto Raptors, and then you have what happened this year, it isn't easy, right? And what I mean by that is this, that you're on the road, then you're off the road. We've had multiple different studios to call games out of. Everybody's done a tremendous job setting all of that up. And then Amy filled in, for Alvin and did an unbelievable job. I mean, she's extremely talented, as we all know, and she's been doing it for a long time, right?
Yep.
And, she's currently still does, college basketball games. So, and then she adds a tremendous perspective. And then Alvin, you now move from the analyst panel role into his analyst role, and he's doing a great job. And why? Because he provides this perspective of, he's a former player.
Yeah.
And he sees things, right? And, so to me, they're both doing outstanding jobs. It's extremely difficult given the fact that, one day you're in the arena, next day you're not in the arena. There was a stretch where, I quarantined, although I didn't test positive, out of, close contact. And so I wasn't there. And then Alvin wasn't there. There's just been a lot of things going on, right? But they've both, been tremendous. And then for me, my job is to work with, both of them and make the game exciting make it entertaining, do all those sort of different things and make them feel comfortable.
Yeah. And I've, speaking to Alvin, I think, he has this almost like dry humor in a way. He delivers things where, like I remember that game where Scotty Barnes threw that inbound pass to OG to lock up the game. And I think you guys are doing the little 24-second Charmin segment. And you were like, all right, Alvin, what do we got to do here? And he's like, you got to get the ball inbounds and then get it into the hands of a good foul shooter. That's it. And you're like, oh, wow. Okay. All right. No, but I like how to the point he is. I could tell how serious he is about just like, the game, obviously having played it at a high level, the highest level. And I think you're doing a better job of also just like getting him to sort of lean into those insights as much as possible. Because that's the kind of experience that nobody else can really speak to outside of probably a few hundred people in the history of, basketball.
And he wants to get better at it too. So we talk about, those things. But to your point, there is no one, right, that has been in that spot before. And so the last game, for instance, Thaddeus Young checks in. He throws the ball away on the inbounds. But yet Alvin has a perspective of being a player that has been traded, picked up. You're in there. Yes, play calls, sometimes sound the same, are different. What exactly are we doing? Right? Yeah. All those sort of different things that, change that. But he's able to provide that perspective.
Right, for sure. And then your energy has been incredible. Obviously, we all hear it and we all see it on the broadcast all the time. But then also Danielle posted this very great clip that I think got shared thousands of times of you calling. What was the play, Alex? You remember the play?
It was a three-pointer to put the game away.
Yeah, it was a Gary Trent Jr. 3 that was in Houston. That was, I think it was back-to-back threes at that point that really iced it. Right.
So you guys, take us behind the scenes, like, because that's literally a shot of behind the scenes. You guys are not in Houston.
No.
Where are you guys? Sort of who's there, and sort of what's your approach to still bringing that kind of energy despite not feeling the energy of the game?
Right. So we've done games in Oakville at Dome Productions. We've done games at Dome Productions at the Rogers Center, and then we've also done games as we did Monday night, and then that night. At Scotiabank Arena at Gate 5, which is where we'll be, I believe, this evening. I got to double check, but I think we are there again this evening. But everybody has done an amazing job. We have a 55, 60-inch TV monitor there. We have a stat monitor there, and then we have another monitor there that allows us sometimes to kind of get a sense of, is there all 10? They don't have an all 10 camera, all 10 meaning all 10 players you can see, right? And because those are the nuances of the game when you're not there calling it that you miss. You guys know that from. And so I was standing up, as I do, sometimes throughout the course of a game, and I don't know where it came from. But, there it is. There it is. And he made that shot, and it was kind of like good night, Houston. Yep. And there you go. And Danielle ended up posting it. it caught on. You know, Alvin was laughing, so I knew, you know, I hit something. And then, you know, of course, Sherm was Sherm, right? He was just stone
Sherm was
cold.
serious.
He's just stone cold. And so, you know, you just try to have fun and entertain and why I said goodnight Houston at that time, I don't know. You know, like I really don't think about, you know, you do all your homework, you do all your prep work, and then the game starts. And as I said earlier, the game takes you where it goes.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's like the other night, too, when they were talking about you and Utah going for ramen.
Okay, yeah.
And Matt had a great line out of nowhere. He just said, Will Lou on line 1. He just said, Will Lou, line 1.
I was like, damn, I gotta check my phone. Is it on silent? I don't have his number. Yeah, he still doesn't have my number, Matt.
Yeah.
I think
maybe
and
by
you
the
can
way,
help with this,
I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's going to happen, man.
See,
Wow.
this is what we. This is why we have Matt on the
corner.
Matt is just coming through with all the perspective.
No.
Good night, Houston.
No. I think we can make it happen. We can make it happen.
Yeah, we can make it happen.
Yeah, there's you know, the season's almost over. So.
Right, and restrictions are lifting. I think that helps,
Yes,
right?
exactly,
I think that has certainly been something that, you know, probably is one of the reasons why it hasn't happened as of yet.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna
why.
go with that.
That's
You know,
why,
that's.
Matt.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
for
can
sure.
I can paint that picture if you'd like. I mean, you know, so. But we'll see. You know, there's still games left in the season. There's still time, although there's a lot of 4 and 5s and all that stuff.
Right.
They're
So
on the road a lot.
They're on the road a lot.
There is a
You know,
All-Star
March.
break coming up,
Yeah.
and who knows? Maybe Utah stays in the city, and maybe you know, we can get connected. And
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me,
have
man?
fun
This
eventually.
is all
You're
you
the,
now.
You're a producer.
Or-
You produce my life. You understand?
No, I'm
You're not just a
tapping. I'm
producer for
tapping
the
out of
show.
this responsibility, man.
All right.
Or maybe not.
or maybe not. But I will have to say, nobody has interviewed Utah more than me in the English-speaking media.
It's true. It's
and
true.
maybe Takeshi. All right, maybe someone
Shout
else.
outs to Kashi, but this
Yeah.
is the most Utah-friendly Raptors program.
100%. Although
To the point
I-
where we've been criticized for not criticizing Utah. at all.
Really?
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Because people have said that.
Because he's got a thing with Chris Boucher. I don't know if you've been following
Oh,
on this one.
yeah. Well, okay. Well, I was actually going to ask you your advice on this because I think obviously, you know, when you comment on the game, you know, hours on end, hours each week, you know, you're in all these sort of scenarios where you're even close to the players sometimes. How do you avoid saying the wrong thing? I think that's actually a genuine piece of advice that I would like to ask you because sometimes, I mean, we're very different, but and I'm also just like on a different, I would say a specifically different platform, but at the same time, you know, I think I fly off the handle way too often, and I would like you to get your advice on how to limit that.
Well, here's the
Professionally.
yes. Well, you know, there's a couple of different things to that. Number one, I think the perspective, right, and then also, you know, the conversations, you know, that I have with certain members of the organization about where a player is and where they want to go, what is going on, and you try to take all of that into consideration. And I think that for Chris, you know, again, there's so much, you know, he's in the final year of his deal. You know, he wants to get another one. You know that he's feeling good about coming off of last season. We know that he got injured early. And then it's human nature. You try to do maybe a little bit too much, right? But I think what's been great about Chris is that there is a certain segment now of games where you can really get a sense that he knows who he is within this league, right? And it's that old saying of being a star in your role, right? Be a star in your role, and that's where you're going to carve out a niche, and that's where you're going to be able to stay in the league for a long time. And I think, you know, it takes a little bit of time to come around to that. And I think with Chris, I think he's, you know, there is, you know, this, you look at his stat line, right? And you're seeing, hey, you're an energy player. You're a shot blocker. You know, don't get married to the three, right? Yeah. Every time you get it, you know, let it fly. Don't let it fly all the time, right? One or two a game, depending upon the situation. And I think he's coming around to that, and I think that's why he's been able to produce, right? You're going to be a 15 to 20-minute a night guy, and you're going to block shots. You're going to be a matchup-driven guy too, right, depending. And so, you know, that's kind of, you know, where I think about that, I think with all players. But then I understand because you're coming from sometimes a perspective of, the immediacy and the fan reaction,
fandom, the
and
emotions.
right,
Yep.
and so there is an element of that, and there's you walk away from games for sure that you think, okay, are those is that player understanding his role on this team, or is that right? But that's just common things that we'll sit down and talk about, and certainly when you get out on the road, you talk to different people, and when you're around the team more, of kind of understanding what is happening, right? And some of that is based upon the last couple of years of the the restrictions and the different things that you don't have.
That is a really good point.
That's a
Because
great point.
I've told Will too, is that so much of like, say, Chris may be thinking that some of the comments towards him are personal coming from Will, is because they don't have a relationship. Like,
Right.
they've never actually sat down and gotten to know each other,
Which is why.
which is why
Do I
it's
go on
coming.
my Twitter and say, what the is William Room talking about? No.
Which is why the Will Lou, Chris Boucher interview of the century is coming soon.
Okay. All
Coming
right.
Yeah,
soon.
and
No-
Give me
no
more
date
details
yet,
on
but
this, because
coming
I would
And
really
so-
love to hammer it up.
Yeah. But I think he's, if you look at what's happening now with the Raptors, and we understand the five, right? And it's now trying to find out who those next three are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he understands who, that sixth person is, right? And I'm talking about Nick. And then you now add Thaddeus Young. I think that everybody's been given an opportunity. I think everybody
Yes.
would agree with
Yes.
everything that's happened this year. Everybody's been given an opportunity. I've been a huge believer in Svi.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought, like, hey, that was a great signing.
Yep.
Whatever, he's given an opportunity, and he, the shots aren't falling for whatever reason, right? But hey, he's had an opportunity, and maybe an opportunity will come back around again,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
We saw Malachi the other night, and that some of them is game, score, time, matchup, those sort of things. But I do think that Chris has settled into that role,
has.
and I think that that's a good thing. And now, to me, the next couple of things to kind of watch here is Precious, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then Thaddeus Young, and does his role kind of expand a little bit?
Right. And you had an idea, actually, because, Matt and Chris have worked together on the Mary Brown's commercial.
Yes, that's right.
And you have another commercial idea, Alex, because people don't know this about Alex, but he's actually a content genius, especially when it comes to the Raptors.
No,
Okay.
people know this. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to be humble, but
No.
I was
People
gonna
are
be
aware.
just watch
Yeah, I
how
don't
hungry
think-
are you or whatever. But okay, yeah, you're
my
right. Okay.
My mom's not watching today because she usually thinks I'm off on Wednesdays,
Okay,
and I had to make a surprise.
Why are you here?
Because you were 5 minutes
okay,
late.
Anyway,
Legit.
you have a great commercial idea for
Yes,
the next
yes.
Mary Brown's commercial.
This needs to be pitched, and if Matt, you can make this happen. Chris Boucher, next Mary Brown's commercial, dunking over Will Lou.
I
Just
like
dunking over
Yeah.
Will Lou.
Yeah.
Like
With,
a Nuggets kind of
with you
the nuggets,
commentating.
with the nuggets
Yes.
into
Yes.
the sauce.
Yes, with you
and the sauce
commentating.
falls on me like,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
Yeah. And we
Yeah.
need Matt Devlin on the call.
You
Yes.
know what? We can do that.
Yeah. Will
We can
Lou,
do that.
line one as you get dunked on.
Okay. All right. As my producer, again, I'm asking Alex to make this happen. And which, by the way, on this topic of, restraint, because I think, look, this is great professional advice that we're just carrying out live on air, just only for my behalf, for other people to also listen to across the nation, across the world, actually. But we actually have even more specific because, you were talking about how, after games, you'll sometimes see my tweets and you're like, wow, that one is pretty spicy or this one's not that spicy. So
Yeah.
I actually wanted to get your direct
Yes,
feedback
okay.
on some of the tweets. So
Yeah.
we're going to play this little segment called Tweet or Don't Tweet,
Yeah.
featuring some of mine. I believe that you'll be able to see
Do they
these.
include the deleted tweets?
No. Those ones even I knew not to tweet in retrospect, okay?
Man, Devlin came in spicy. By the way, my mom texted to confirm. She says, I am watching.
Oh, okay,
So,
wow.
hi, Mom.
Hello, Alex's mom. Okay, all right. So I have prepared 6 tweets here, and I wanted to get your professional consult on whether or not to tweet these. I will show you these on my laptop, and I'll read them aloud as well.
Okay,
But the first one here says, Adam Silver, make sure you search the rafters of Scotiabank Arena. I believe Lawrence Frank left a sleeping bag, binoculars, and 3 packs of shin noodles up there, and he owes rent, by the way. So this is in reference to the year the Clippers spent tampering with Kawhi, which eventually did end up with Kawhi going to the Clippers, unfortunately.
Yeah. You're fine with that tweet.
That's fine?
Yeah.
Okay.
There we go. Ring it up.
Okay, all right.
One for
Yeah.
one.
All right,
yeah.
nice.
That's
Okay, good.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a little bit,
It's lighthearted. It's a lighthearted joke. You're just poking fun at the situation.
Yeah, you're just,
All right, next one here.
Why were they around? I
don't know. Some of the
I
reports
didn't.
were
I
just like,
didn't
remember
notice
when
when I would
Ballmer
bump
sat
into
courtside?
everybody. And no.
Yeah. When Steve Ballmer showed up courtside for Raptors Pistons, that one wasn't suspicious at all.
That was
or,
too much.
or a Tuesday night in Milwaukee when you'd bump into somebody. But anyway,
Yeah, who doesn't love spending Tuesdays in Milwaukee? All right, next tweet here. Danny might have to shave his head like Marc Gasol to get a 3.
So this is taking shots at two players at once.
yeah, I would. Yeah, that's a don't.
All right.
That's a
Okay.
don't do.
Well,
Don't
I
do.
thought
That's
that was
a
quite
don't
light.
do that.
Everyone's rubbing the temple on his forehead, by the way, for people who are just listening.
Yeah, don't
He's
do
trying to
that.
make it clear that I tweeted this, not that devil.
Did you? Yeah, let's.
All right.
But
okay.
this is a good game. This is fun.
No,
It gets-
Angel and Devil here. You're cool with that one. I'm good
it
with
gets
that
much
one.
worse. All right,
You
next
guys
one.
are
here.
good with that.
I'm good with that one. Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I'm good with that one.
All right, cool. There we go. All right, number 3. Nick Nurse could clinch his spot in the All-Star game by beating Dwayne Casey tomorrow. Life's not fair. So this is back in 2020.
Yeah, that's
You know,
yeah. That's fair.
that's fair. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like because that's got some factoid to it. It's a fact.
That's
Right?
right. That's reporting.
It's reporting. There's a
Right,
fact.
right,
There's
right,
right,
right.
or no? Is that not in the context of a fact?
No,
right?
no, that was.
I
that
think it
was.
was. It
Yeah.
was. It
It
was.
was. You're right. You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's news value. Okay, next
Yeah.
one here. Number 4. 27 fouls on the Raptors to 14 on the Celtics, even by TD Garden standards. This is an all-timer.
You don't go after anybody in particular. You don't name names.
Just pointing out stats.
You're just pointing out stats
I'll name
again.
names in the next tweet here.
Oh yeah, get to the next one.
Okay, I'm okay with that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Stats,
is that a
stats.
surprise?
It's a big disparity if you have
Yeah.
twice as many fouls.
Well, look at I'm not afraid during a game to mention some stat lines every now and again that are facts.
Mhm.
Facts are facts, right? If one team's committed X, the other team has committed Y, then one team's gone to the line, one team hasn't. I mentioned it earlier.
You said Pascal scored 35 points, no free throws.
Third player this year to have that many points or more and not get it's only happened 3 times all year.
And Pascal's not like he's not hitting
14 drives. He's not hanging out on the perimeter.
just threes, man.
Yeah.
All right. This next one here. I mean, this one's already a no, but it's still up here.
What do you mean it's a no?
Provide the context.
Okay.
The
Their
context.
names are Pat Frere, Curtis Blair, and Cheryl Flores. This is, I believe, the Raptors
Yeah, you
beating
can't-
Milwaukee.
you-
So the Raptors
okay.
actually won this game.
Before you even finish, you can't do that.
All right. So this is a
Don't-
definitely no.
don't-
You know what?
I didn't even hear it, but
Okay.
no.
I might have to delete this live on air.
Sportsnet merch team. Take back the idea I had of printing that on a T-shirt. Yeah.
All right,
pull
well,
that one
it
back.
could be a good T-shirt though. Let me hear it.
No. Oh, that one's tough. Yeah, you know what? No, this was bad. I know that.
Okay,
I
what
know that.
the one that we just said was bad?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's bad.
yeah,
Yeah.
I need to name them. Those
Yeah, that was
and
the one.
again, I can't stress this enough. The Raptors won that game,
Yeah.
so usually I'm not doing that.
We'll
after
discuss.
this,
We'll
but-
discuss that tweet more at length in another segment.
Okay, and
when
then
we
the
need to
last
kill
one here.
time. Yeah.
There's an audio component to this one too.
Okay.
So might have to ask you to take off your headphones for a second.
So the context of this is 5 a.m. in Oakland. After the Raptors
title?
won Game 6
Yeah.
of the NBA Finals,
Yeah.
Willu
Raptors,
is
baby.
Smoking a
Raptors.
cigar.
smoking a cigar with an evil laugh.
Yeah, that is totally fine.
Would you post this?
When that's
Okay, I think that should be the new game. Would you post
That's
this?
a hard no on
Because
all
there's
of
a
it.
huge
Okay.
difference between Matt saying that's
No,
fine
I mean,
versus Matt posting it.
He's like, it's fine for you.
Yeah, I mean there's nothing wrong with that tweet.
Yeah.
There's nothing the celebration
Mhm.
of that night, nothing wrong with that. And we've kind of talked about this in the past. That 2-month journey that brought the basketball community together, that brought the country together. Absolutely, 5 a.m., which is 8 a.m. Here in Toronto, while you're still out in San Fran, having a great time. There's nothing wrong with that after a title.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and I think it goes back to like a lot of the stuff that we talked about in terms of like, being critical of you and like giving you perspective. Is the one thing I always tell Will is like, don't lose the passion, right? Like it's so important, and I think it shows through too when we played the clip of you,
Yeah.
calling that Houston game.
Right.
Not everybody gets up for a game, Raptors against a rebuilding Houston Rockets team.
Right.
Oh, I was
And like,
up.
and I know you are because you're a different breed.
Yeah,
but like, I think with you, with Will, with a lot of other people, it's the passion that I think attracts people.
Well, if you love it, right? If you love it, and I love it, and tonight, every time I get ready to go do a game, like you don't know how it's going to unfold, right? That's why you prepare and you do everything you do, leading up to a broadcast, but absolutely love it. And then, if you can have some fun along the way, to me, that just adds, so much to it. And I agree. Look there's a, passion, right? Passion, just, allows, for you to share and show, what you love, right? And so, if you can't get passionate about even Houston and and the Raptors and all, I mean, come on, I mean, it's great. And the other thing, like you feel for the Houston fans.
Oh, I feel for them. I mean, I think they deserve a refund because their team couldn't handle a full court press.
I mean, and Green is going to be like and then, to me, it gets into the really deep conversation. Same thing with Oklahoma City. They don't have a bad contract to trade, really. What are they going to do? They're going to have to rip up Lou Dort's deal, give him a lot of money, right, in the summertime, which is a good idea.
I agree.
Josh Giddey's playing well, but he's playing really well without Shea around, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of intriguing sort of things that are happening that, okay, you can rebuild and you can have all those picks, but there's a timeline here, and that to me is always the thing. Sacramento's a prime example. You can have all those lottery picks, but you need to hit on one or two and make a move. And look at the Raptors, right? They hit on one. I mean, he's a special player, Scotty Barnes. And now all of a sudden, team starts coming together. You go, okay, hey, we got something here.
Yeah, we were talking about on Monday how impressive it is, and people should appreciate. And speaking of perspective, that the Raptors have been a winning organization for almost a decade now.
Yeah,
skipping the Tampa year. Of course.
I was gonna say I owe most of my career to Masai in the front office for always putting together a great team. Because honestly, if the team was garbage, there's no way I'd be in this position.
Well, ratings, all those sort of different things, and I've always said my first year in the NBA was 1999. You look at it. You can I call it living in the 30s. You can live in the 30s, meaning 30 to 39 wins, a long time, right? And you see organizations that just 1 year 30, the next year 32, then they get to 39.
They're playing Minnesota tonight,
and then all of a sudden you're back, right? Yeah. But the one thing that is changing it, and I'm not necessarily a huge fan of the play-in, right? But the play-in is changing it because everybody thinks they still have a shot. Right. And that is a good thing for a fan base standpoint, but it's not great if you're a team that's trying to make some deals to add.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. So much wisdom, as always, when we talk to Matt.
Always.
The reviews are already in. People are already hitting us on Twitter. Someone named Chris says, tell Matt he's awesome.
Well, tell Chris thank you.
All right.
Chris, I think I just told him thank you.
Yeah, there you go. Matt, appreciate you. Appreciate all the love on the broadcast.
Yeah, sorry about that. I know I delayed your show by.
No, you're a busy guy, man.
No,
it had nothing to do with
we just
that.
have Vivek in the
I
second
know, I'm
segment.
just making excuses for you, Matt.
No,
Yeah, we're going to talk about if we do bring V on. We might got to save him enough.
Oh, okay.
Let's talk
All
about
right. Who we bringing?
Vivek Jacob, Raptors.
Raptors.com.
Yeah, maybe, though. He's a questionable. He's a game time decision, apparently.
Yeah, we'll
Really?
decide during the
To
break.
producer. All
No,
right.
I want to give him more time, but we'll see.
All right, well, Matt, thank you for
Thank
your
you
time.
for having me.
Yeah.
Have a good one tonight.
You too? Yes.
Watch your thumbs.
You know what? I will. You know what? Honestly, speaking of that Pelicans game, I was going to be fairly upset about it, but then I heard 5 minutes of promo of this show, and I was like, look, life's pretty awesome. I think I'm going to have to just skip this one.
So all you needed was some self-promo?
Yeah, actually. You know what, Matt? Next time there's a bad game going on for the Raptors, just try to mention us at some point. It might save my career. So.
There you go.
By the way, you do all those great three-point calls. Can we make a request one of these games? You can say from Pacific Mall.
From Pacific Mall.
Yeah, Markham, Ontario.
You got it.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know what?
all right.
Send me. You know what? Next home game.
Yeah.
Because I do it for home games.
Yep.
Just send me.
I'll text you.
We'll get it done.
Wow.
I'll text you.
All right.
There we go.
right.
All right. That's a good spot for a second break. I'm your
Thanks,
host,
guys.
Will Lou, and you'll be listening to The Raptors Show, powered by DoorDash on Sportsnet 590, The Fan. fact that Vivek was a game time decision, and that's on us. We had to sort of move things around a little bit, but we will, give Vivek his proper segment on Friday.
Yeah, I didn't want to bring Vivek Jacob
Yeah.
of Raptors.com on for just 10 minutes because you guys were going to talk Champions League and
Okay.
soccer, and I didn't want to hear that.
You didn't watch
so.
PSG versus Real Madrid yesterday?
Who?
Kylian Mbappe with a sensational goal, splitting two defenders.
That's the guy who had a terrible Euro Cup, right?
I mean, Messi missed a penalty as well,
Oh,
Oh, okay. All right. We're not going to mention that second part.
Yeah,
not
we
gonna
have
talk
producer
about,
Derek Brandale
United
giving us
versus
soccer updates.
Brighton updates. I mean, we
Lots
would
of
have if
soccer
Vivek
fans.
came on, but
Great
he's
segment
not
with Matt Devlin, though.
Thank
let's
you.
do
You were here too.
Yeah,
so.
let's do a self-review
Yeah, let's do
of
it.
our own
So
show.
I really did enjoy, first off, the professional concept for two of the best people in the game. Like, I'm not even just trying to be nice. Like,
Whoa,
actually,
including me as well?
yeah.
Oh,
No, by
wow,
the way,
okay.
So in the
Thanks.
process of searching for these tweets, because I came up with the idea of this, like, tweet or don't tweet segment on the bus on the way here, and then I was going through the things, and I was thinking about, okay, what are some of the sensitive topics that I might have had a flagrant tweet about in the past? So I was just searching like my Twitter handle and then like a player's name, right? It was like, Chris, Yuta, Fred, Pascal, like whoever. I was going through all these guys.
Yeah, and then more Chris.
No,
My
Thank
boy
Chris.
William. Listen.
that's my boy. That's my guy now. Especially the way he's taking charges these days. It's actually been quite fun to watch. But I also searched LeBron because obviously I would have, as a Raptor fan, I would have a lot to say about what LeBron did in the past. There were a lot of emotionally charged plays.
What can you
involving
really
LeBron.
say besides LeBron owned the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah, there were other things that I said, but
Okay.
it's not that bad. But in the process of that, I was finding a lot of tweets that I was sending to someone named Steven LeBron, which is your
okay.
Twitter handle.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm not even kidding, I had at least 10 tweets from like 2017, 2016 being like, every Steven LeBron story is a must read. Best writer in the game.
This one I used to write.
I'm new to this. I'm not new to this. I genuinely have been a longtime fan of yours.
No, I
So
appreciate it.
it was great to have you as like giving the
Little
the big brother
facilitator.
perspective,
Yep.
and then Matt giving me the fatherly perspective
Okay.
of like just.
So you're saying we've
just delete the Twitter app.
You're saying-
It's not going for you.
You're saying we've replaced your brother and your father, Ronald?
No.
Oh, okay.
No one
okay,
can
okay.
do that, really.
By the
but,
way, we still need to get one of your family members on the show. Can we make that like a guarantee, or can we put something on it like if the Raptors get to 45 wins, I get to pick one of your family members for an interview of the century on the show?
You don't get to pick. The only person who is in contention here is my brother.
What about your mom?
They're just not as comfortable speaking English, even though
You
they're
have sat-
perfectly fluent
No,
at
you
English.
you
They
have
just don't
sat
feel-
you have sat here and said the best interviews are with like players' moms because moms are great.
Yeah, I know.
Moms are the
I
best.
know, but
Yeah.
she just wouldn't feel okay. This is what I'm trying to say. So first up, when they came to
Never
Canada,
heard you
they're
stammer.
already proficient at English, right?
Okay, okay.
Like they learn English in China.
Yeah.
A lot of people learn English in China, especially around that time, especially people who were hoping to immigrate to an English-speaking country. So they already
Yeah.
knew English. They got here, and they put me in ESL, whatever. As soon as I passed ESL,
Yeah.
just about like a month or so in, they were like, "All right, you're gonna do all the English speaking for our family from now until forever." And I was like 7 at that time, and they weren't even kidding. Like even at border crossings and stuff like that, we used to drive from Toronto to Chicago to see my folks in Chicago.
Yeah. I have
And-
family in Chicago too. Damn.
Yeah. Okay. They got a big Chinatown down there.
Yeah,
It's close to
shouts-
United Center. And yeah, like even crossing the border and stuff, I would be the one just communicating for them. Even
Yeah.
though like they speak English, they have jobs, they've worked in the country for 20 plus years, but they just don't feel fully
But I think
comfortable.
that's what happens to a lot of immigrant families. It was the same thing for my sister and I. Like once you learn English,
Mm.
you are like the spokesperson
Yes.
for your family.
Yes.
Like in like just day-to-day situations.
Yeah. Making
like-
calls to the bank.
Yep, making calls to the
appointments.
bank.
Yeah.
Or if they receive a bill in the mail, they need you to translate.
Well,
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
well,
My
that's
parents
just
were
my
on
own
that level.
experience.
They can read it just fine. They just didn't want to say it.
Okay,
out
your
loud for
parents
some
are better
reason.
than my
But
parents. I get it, man.
okay,
No
all
need
right.
to be competitive.
Well,
Yeah.
in any case, though. So yeah, if you know what, if the Raptors win 45 games, you can call my brother at the end of the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm excited about that.
Uh,
What will my brother?
Don't
what
call
will
him
your
Seth.
brother?
Don't call him Seth Curry, man. Please.
Yes, I have been calling Will's brother Seth Curry
It's so rude.
because Seth Curry's played great debut in Brooklyn.
Nah, come on, bro. You know what you're doing. Anyway, how are we on this topic? Yeah. So anyway, it was great to have that perspective from you guys professionally because I respect you guys a ton.
But
And-
let's be real. Like we've had these conversations
Yeah,
a lot
just
off air.
offline, yeah.
But I think hearing it from someone like Matt too, someone with more experience than me, more experience than you,
Mhm.
I think it means a lot. But again, the takeaway from that tweet or don't tweet segment is just keep doing your thing.
I guess so, yeah.
Like, because he disapproved you saying that that's Danny Green, right? Danny Green should shave his head. That was a great reference because this was what I think most Raptors fan know. But
He was
this,
off the team by that point, too, by the way.
This
That
was-
was when he was in with the Lakers, actually.
yeah, but this was a reference to the Raptors in the bubble when Marc Gasol was struggling in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That he
Ripped his jersey.
He ripped his jersey mid-game, and he showed up to, I want to say, Game 6 with a completely new haircut from
Yeah.
Rajon Rondo's brother's barbershop in the bubble.
Yes.
Shaved his whole head.
Yes. Actually, I'd like to think that he did it himself.
Just in front of the mirror.
If you're gonna shave your head, like you could totally just put the one clip on and just like, you know.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've never shaved my head, but like, you know, I imagine you could.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that also just, you know what was really sad actually, just looking back to the bubble. Like first off, that season the Raptors were flowing really well. There was one of the really truly memorable championship defense seasons.
Bro, I've always said this, and I think
Yeah.
you'll agree with me. Championship was great.
Yeah.
And trust me, I'm not taking away from it, but that was the most fun season.
It was so
The
much
Kawhi
fun.
season
the
was
pride.
The Kawhi season
Yeah.
was tense. It was very tense. He wasn't playing.
Sure,
He would
yeah.
play. Like, you weren't sure what was going to happen in the playoffs. You
I mean,
lost.
it was tense because you haven't won the championship yet.
It was tense because they were coming off getting swept by LeBron.
All right. Anyway, so
Anyways.
I'm not going to share the other tweets I didn't have in there.
Okay.
By the way, those are some of my mildest selection that I showed on that.
Yeah, yeah.
clip.
I'll bring
don't search for more. But my point
Yeah.
is though, Mark in particular, when they get to the bubble, remember when Mark came in and he like really slimmed down?
He looked amazing.
Everyone was like, "Wow, the photos," and just like you know,
Yeah.
he was working out, I think in Barcelona or whatever, like, and he just looked incredible. We had all these hopes for the team, and honestly,
Hey, the Raptors started 7-1 in that bubble
Mhm,
in
yep.
the real games.
Yep.
They swept Chris Chioza's Brooklyn Nets. Technically,
yeah.
technically, we beat Kevin Durant in back-to-back playoff seasons.
wow.
If you want to, as Matt Devlin said, just listing off stats here. That Boston Celtics series, yeah, that one's always going to bother me. And it comes
I
back to the Celtics because they are once again a roadblock.
Yeah,
Like we mentioned at the top of the show,
I hate it.
that 8-game win streak was so great for the Raptors, and now I look up and the Boston Celtics have all the vibes. They are the hottest team in the East, and to be honest, everything looks pretty sustainable. And they added Derek White.
So they beat the Sixers 135-87. Joel Embiid played, by the way.
Yeah,
I know I said the Sixers like they went to the trade deadline, they lost some pieces.
forget about that though. But the Sixers without Harden was a top 6 team in the East, so it's not like they were like It's
Yeah.
not like the Celtics beat up on a really bad opponent.
I know. Well, that was the thing that was like, okay, so the Celtics had a soft part in their schedule, and they were really able to find the rhythm and flow, and they were able to just like continue to play better. Now, when the schedule's starting to turn, where they're having to play more difficult opponents, they're starting to beat those teams too. Like I was watching them play the Hawks on the weekend, and the Hawks had the early lead. You know, the Celtics weren't hitting threes, and it was like, okay, to the untrained eye, I would say you might think of it as, wow, okay, Atlanta's going to come in here. The Celtics have been beating soft teams. Like, they're going to come over. They're going to come to their house and just beat them. And to me, I was watching the whole time. I was like, the Celtics defense looks great. Eventually, they will score because their defense looks really great. They're switching. The Celtics do a really good job of keeping guys in front, which is, I think, the Raptors do a lot of switching, but they also pressure a lot on the perimeter. So they actually let a lot of people drive by, and they give up too much dribble penetration. Of course, that Pelicans game was an exception. That was like exceptionally bad, but like. Still, like I think that's where the Celtics have really improved themselves. Also, I think that they've also gotten healthier. And yeah, when you look at the overall conference, like the Raptors and the Celtics have been the big risers of late. The Nets have fallen off. No one else actually falls out of this conference though. Like you look at the top 8 right now, it's genuinely frustrating being in this conference. This must have been what it was like in the West for the last like decade.
Yeah, I remember.
You can
that.
have like 48 wins and then not make the playoffs.
Yeah, that one year when was it the Warriors who won 48 or Phoenix? One of those teams won like 48 and couldn't even get in. And now you look at the East, the
Raptors.
Raptors.
Goran Dragic's Phoenix Suns.
Oh, okay. We have mentioned him every day since he was traded.
He's a member
so
of the team, so
we need to change that. They also haven't won since Goran's officially been off
you're
the
right.
team.
The
so
vibes
I'm
are off.
blaming that on
He was
him.
holding them together.
He was holding them together with those Miami practice facility selfies. But yeah, the Raptors need to get winning again. Like obviously tonight's the last game before the All-Star break, but coming out of the break, they have 3 more games on the road.
Yep.
They've got a back-to-back against Brooklyn, which will be huge. No Kyrie for those games. We don't know about Ben Simmons. We don't know about KD. So those will be huge. So we'll see. But yeah, tomorrow I'll be here. Alvin Williams. We're doing second half over-unders with Faisal Kamisa.
Yep.
And then we'll have Vivek Jacob on Friday. So
no, I think it's going to be more elite shows. Elite shows only on this program. I think that's been our rule.
Great show today. I might go no laptop from now on.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. This is all off the dome for Alex. A freestyle king. But that does it for us today. I'm your host, Walu. You've been listening to The Raptors Show, powered by DoorDash on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Make sure you find The Raptors Show wherever you listen to podcasts and subscribe, and please rate and review our show. A reminder, we are streaming live on Sportsnet's YouTube channel and also on Sportsnet's 360 Monday to Friday at 2 to 3 p.m. Thanks once again to Matt Devlin for joining us. Apologies to Vivek. We'll get him on later in the week. Thanks to board producer Derek Vandale and Jennifer Rolnick for helping us behind the scenes on the YouTube stream. And I will talk to you tomorrow.